Hey guys, today I am going to right a wrong. I deprived you guys of my unboxings of a couple knives because I kind of forgot, right? It was a mixture between forgetting and not really having the time to record any videos, but really wanting to feel a knife that came in. So while unboxings are the most fun when you get to get the first impression from me on the knife, I'm going to treat this as a first impressions video. This isn't a review. I'm just going to do a quick overview of what I've seen of the knife so far and my thoughts of the knife so far, but it is not a review. I've done no research on this yet. I haven't prepped for this. Just treat this similar to an unboxing, but this is one of those knives that kind of deserves that type of thing. So today we have a first impressions of the Hinderer XM 18 3-inch. So my first impressions of the Hinderer XM 18 3-inch are, I should mention this is a Gen 4, and I'm failing the flip underneath the camera. You got to kind of work those Teflon washers in there. What I've noticed is the action, first of all, on the Hinderer XM 3-inch from Gen 4 kind of is sluggish. It's not, it's still smooth. So like the Civivi governors and stuff like that I really didn't like the phosphor bronze action on, this feels nothing like it. It still feels really smooth. And, you know, for a really expensive knife, when this was at its heyday, you know, before Gen 5s and Gen 6s, this had these were all on Teflon, and they were known to have the sluggish action. Even the ZT0562 and those series came in on bearings at the time, kind of overshadowing the Hinderers of this time frame. So yes, while I couldn't get my hands on a XM18 Gen 6 quite yet, you guys might have been wondering what I was trading for my Shaman and my PM2 Tonto M4. Well, this was one of the two knives that I got in the trade. It was kind of hard to pass up. It was my first shot at a Hinderer without having to spend obscene amounts of money on one, and so I really had to take it. So, overview. Where I'm sitting at, you got to get a wrist flick when you go to open it, and I'm sitting inside of a box. You guys have already seen my janky filming studio that I have. Makes it a little bit difficult to do. I usually don't fail it with the reverse flick, but the reverse flick is the best way to flick it open. The flipper tab works, but you have to put more wrist action into it. The reverse flick works just fine, and then the thumb flip is really difficult, except for right there, it made it look easy, because of the positioning of the pocket clip and the frame lock. I feel myself always kind of pressing on that frame lock when I'm trying to do the flick with the thumb. So this steel is a 204P, if I'm not mistaken. No. Wrong. S35VN says it right on the blade, dum-dum. Obviously, this is a Hinderer design, and this is the 3-inch model of the XM18. So my first impressions when I got it in hand is immediately recognized why Hinderers are a thing. I love the feeling of my 0562 in hand, but there's something about this in hand that I'm not saying I like better, but it's definitely a difference. Just the texture of the scales and the way this contours to my hand, even though it's a smaller knife, just feels really nice. I really got it. You can feel almost all the hardware when it's in your hand, but it's almost in a good way. It's hard to explain, guys. That one's a difficult one to explain because I feel almost everything, even when I'm bearing down and squeezing, but I feel it in a good way. Like this texturing, you could feel it on your fingertips on this G10, and that was really impressive. That was one of the most impressive things to me at first look. Second, I was actually impressed at how, not impressed, this was kind of a discouragement, at how small this thing actually is by comparison of something that, you know, I am used to carrying and look forward to carrying. I always wanted an XM18 3.5-inch, and I've heard that the XM18's 3 inches are much smaller than the 3.5s, and they aren't kidding. This thing feels small, but it almost feels like the perfect size to go in your pocket. It's not a pocket hog. Like, this thing's kind of a pocket hog, right? The ZT0562, that's kind of a pocket hog. This guy is not. It goes into your pocket really well. Even though it's nowhere near a deep carry, it still fits and slides in perfectly. You got this spoon-shaped pocket spoon-shaped pocket spoon-shaped pocket clip. Wow, that was rough. And it's just everything about this, short of the action. Obviously, you see me failing it over and over and over. Everything about this, short of the action, feels great, and it's because I'm pressing on the frame lock and then the flipper tab itself. You guys just watch me fail that like 14 times. It's really not that bad. Underneath the camera, it's much more difficult though, because something on bearings that just feels good, I mean, no problem, right? This one, you really have to get some gusto to open it up with the wrist flick. But I was disappointed in the action, but I knew what I was getting into it. I just knew what I was getting into. The texturing on this G10 just, it's weird. I'm a titanium guy, but this texturing, I was going to buy a scale for this and be like, well, screw it. It's my first Hinderer. Let's just kind of deck it out, even though it's not a Gen 6, right? But I almost don't want to change out this texturing. I like the color, and I like the texturing of the G10. It feels really good. Not to mention, I really don't want to spend $200 on a scale. Like, that's just kind of like... Overall, I am happy with my trade. I finally got my hands on a Hinderer. I really wanted to feel one. This is not the end of the journey towards the Hinderers. I'm really looking forward to feeling the 3.5 and the XM24. But this was kind of dipping my toes into the field, right? And I'm not at all upset. Once again, I'm bringing out... Actually, let's bring out one knife that I just unboxed that I think might be a good comparison. So this is the ZT0566. Probably one of the closest ZT models maybe to the XM18 3-inch that I'm aware of. And, I mean, you just look at the differences in this alone, right? This was kind of modeled after this similar design by the same guy. And just the differences in attention to detail alone really, really feels significant. Does that mean that I like this better than that? Not necessarily. Do I think this is worth $400 or whatever it was when it first came out? Maybe when it first came out. These days, not so much. I don't think it's worth that much. But, I'm not mad at the trade value that I got for it, even though it kind of stung a little bit to get rid of my Shaman. But anyways, this is more of a show and tell, kind of a first impressions, not a review. I just wanted you guys to see this and kind of share this with me, because we all die to get our hands in a Hinderer, and we're all cringeworthy when it comes to spending $425 on one, let alone you can't really find one on the market except for the 3-inch ones. And I'm not going to go buy a brand new Gen 6 3-inch when I could just wait for, a 3.5 to pop out. But at the end of the day, I almost talked myself into wanting to keep this knife as just like let's just beat the hell out of it, right? Why not? It's already a Gen 4. You're not going to get a really big trade value for it in comparison of the Gen 6s. And with the tri-way and all that. But there's something really, really appealing to the overall design, the ergonomics, and just the way it feels. Maybe if some of it's that you got the Hinderer name in hand too. And some of you guys may be looking at the action going, yeah, I'm not going to spend that much money on a knife with that kind of action. This is something that I wouldn't recommend spending the money on a Gen 4 if somebody's charging you like $400. If you can pick one up for, say, $280 or $300, I mean, I think that's a better deal and probably a lot more reasonable. And when you get it in hand, if you haven't felt something similar to this value, you're going to appreciate it if you appreciate those types of little details. You're not going to be mad. And again, this isn't a review. This is just my first impressions and my initial thoughts that immediately popped into my brain when I first opened it. I should have got it on camera, and I was a little impatient. I knew I wasn't going to be recording anytime soon, so I really wanted to get my hands on it. But I want to share this with you guys. And this is the Hinderer XM18 3-inch Gen 4. Very cool, very exciting. And FYI, this lock bar, like, it's super light, and I thoroughly enjoy that. I just wish it was a little bit more fidgety. I had the reverse flick down for a while, or I was like, no problem. But anyways, my name's been Tyler. This has been Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe. Thank you guys so much for sharing these types of moments with me. I apologize I didn't catch the initial moment on camera. Kind of glad I didn't, because there's some, it's kind of weird to get your dream knife in hand, but you got the dream knife of 2 years ago, 3 years ago. And, the new standard these days in $60 knives, you're getting better action than this. So you have to settle your mind back down to appreciate some of the other things, and there's a lot to appreciate with this guy. I think I said it already, but stay sharp, stay safe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. It genuinely means a lot. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment. If you didn't like it, give me some feedback in the comments below and hit the thumbs down button. In case you guys don't know, I do have a Patreon, which will be listed right here. In that Patreon, we're giving bi-monthly giveaways to just the Patreons based on the number of Patreons that we have in the Patreon. We will also be giving discounts on all the knives that I sell based on the number of patrons. My name is Tyler. This is Everyday EDC. You guys stay sharp, stay safe, and have a great day.